Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Balhara Jaya Gopi Jana Balhara Yasodanandana Rajajanandana Yasodanandana Rajajanandana Jamuna Tira Manaka Jamuna Tira Manaka Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sri Bhaktās Bhaktāः Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha Sri Bhaktās Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavanadha. Jaya Lalita Vishakha, Jaya Radha Shyam, Lalita Vishakha, Jaya Radha Shyam. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. नित्यप्रविष्ट जंग विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री भासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय जय श्री श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय जय पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय जय श्री श्री द्वारका धाम की जय जय श्री श्री अयोध्या धाम की जय जय श्री श्री बद्रिका धाम की जय जय श्री श्री कृष्ण भक्ति पदायिनी श्री श्री वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय जय श्री श्री गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की जय जय श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। युग धर्म श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। पतित पावन श्री श्री हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees, हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु गौरांग श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं। श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपीकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितनं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतसि नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So, this second session of today's Bhagavad Gita class. So, I'm first of all I'm purified after hearing the first class by Guru Maharaj. It's very rare to see a disciple speaking after the spiritual master. Fortunately, it happened today. It was for the first time for me today. Somehow or other, I don't think I'll be able to speak something because already Gurudev has already covered everything. But still, whatever has been assigned to me, I will like to little bit explain whatever I have understood, heard or read. So before that, I am seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Mataji is there. So please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet, and please bless me and give your causeless mercy so that I can little bit elaborate on this today's text. So we are going to start a very one of the most important chapter in Bhagavad Gita. The entire title is Devotional Service. So just now all of you have heard, those who are here in the Hindi section, about the pure devotional service. Very interesting topic it was. So today we are going to discuss on the first text, number 1. So kindly repeat after me. Arjuna uvāca evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate ye cāpy akṣaram avyaktam teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate ye cāpy akṣaram avyaktam teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. Arjuna uvāca evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate ye cāpy akṣaram avyaktam teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. Kindly repeat. Arjuna uvāca evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. Arjuna uvāca evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate ye cāpy akṣaram avyaktam teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. Arjuna uvāca evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate teṣāṁ ke avyaktam teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. Mataji. evaṁ satata-yuktā bhaktās tvām paryupāsate ye cāpy akṣaram avyaktam teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. So word to word meaning. Arjuna uvāca, Arjuna said, evam, thus, satata, always, yuktāḥ, engaged, ye, those, who, bhaktāḥ, devotees, tvām, you, paryupāsate, properly worship, ye, those who, cha, also, api, again, akṣaram, beyond the senses, avyaktam, the unmanifested, teṣāṁ, of them, ke, who, yoga-vittamāḥ, the most perfect in knowledge of yoga. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Purport. Krishna has now explained about the personal, the impersonal and the universal, and has described all kinds of devotees and yogis generally the transcendental. So as of now, just I'll go little elaborate the Prabhupada's purport also. So as of now, you have heard in various, I'll elaborate which are the texts in so far we have discussed, from starting from chapter 2 to chapter 11. So all the text we'll see chapters where Krishna has spoken to Arjuna that he has a personal form, and where there are some places also, Jnana Yoga especially, it has been described, he has also impersonal aspect. So Krishna has both aspects, personal and impersonal, simultaneously. And then in the previous chapter, in the 11th chapter, you have heard about the universal form in detail. And then also, as Prabhupada said, all kinds of devotees means there are some pure devotees. The previous class was on pure devotional service, pure devotees. And there are some Mishra Bhaktas. Mishra Bhaktas means Karma Mishra Bhakta, Jnana Mishra Bhakta. Or in other words, Pradhani Bhuta, Guni Bhuta Bhaktas. They are mixed devotees. They are not pure devotees. They have some desire. They have some karma. They have some jnana covering and they have some anya bhilas. Some other than devotional service, they have some other motive, ulterior motive. So that's why it is not pure devotion. So then that's why Arjuna, Prabhupada says, all kinds of devotees and the yogis. So all yogis, karma yogi, jnana yogi, the dhyana ashtanga yogi, hatha yogi, all these yogis, including now we are entering the bhakti yogis, bhakta yogis. So generally the transcendentalists can be divided into two classes. So what are they? Personalist and impersonalist. One is the impersonalist and the other is personalist. The personalist devotee engages himself with all energy in the service of the Supreme Lord. So what do you mean by all energy? All energy means body, mind and word, just like sannyasis. They fully dedicate their entire life. They have no other activity. They are fully surrendered. Whatever they speak about Krishna, whatever the activities they do to the body, it is to please Krishna, and whatever they think also to please Krishna. So that is how body, and also in other words we can say heart and soul. They put the entire effort and the entire life is fully dedicated for Krishna's service. That's why it is said, Anya bhilyasate sunna jnana karma anavrutam anukulyana krishnanusam. They just whatever is anukulyana means which is favorable for Krishna's pleasure, they do that. That is what Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So the impersonalists also engage themselves, Prabhupada writes, not directly in service of Krishna, but in meditation on the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. You know, the Brahma Jyoti, which comes the bodily rays of Krishna. It is called impersonal Brahman. So the impersonalists, they meditate on the Brahma Jyoti. They have no realization of the Paramatma, neither Bhagavan. Just like Prabhupada gives many times, a train is coming. One time one train was coming, and the whole village people were assembled. The first time they saw the train, they never saw the train before. So there are some group of people, they said, train means one light. They ran away. It was a dark evening. And then some people, they stayed back. So then they could see, oh, there is not just a light, there is some engine and there are some compartments like that. Then they also went away. So second group of people, they said, oh, train means one engine and one few compartments. Then the still more advanced, those who wanted more details, they stayed back. They went inside the compartment. They could see some passengers are sitting, some things are there, nicely, well maintained compartment. So that is how. Or so many other examples like a cloud, the mountain, it looks like a cloud from the distance, and once you go nearby. So like that, there are so many things Prabhupada described. So that is called incomplete realization. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti sabdyate. The three stages of realization. So these impersonalists have only Brahman realization. They have no Paramatma and Bhagavan realization. Sat, Chit and Ananda. They have only they understand the eternity of the Lord. No knowledge, no complete knowledge, neither the bliss. So then Prabhupada writes, we find in this chapter that of the different processes of realization of absolute truth, Bhakti Yoga, devotional service is the highest. So this we'll see in the previous, in the last shloka, that is the last text, 11.55. Yesterday you have heard from Karta Mishra Mataji. It says, Mat karma krit mat paramo mat bhaktah sanga varjitah nirvairaha sarva bhutesu jaha samam yeti pandava. So here the translation you have heard yesterday. My dear Arjuna, who engages in my pure devotional service. So yesterday's verse was on pure devotional service. And it should be free from the contamination of fruitive activities, means karma and mental jnana. He who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So in these last two verses, 54 and 55, you have heard about the pure devotion. The 54 also says ananya bhakti, and here also same. So here the word mat karma krin mat paramo. So karma krin mat paramo means whatever we do, it is for the pleasure of Krishna, glorification of Krishna. That is where Krishna ended the last chapter. So obviously after hearing this, so that is the connection between today's verse and the previous chapter. So then obviously this entire chapter, it is bhakti yoga, it is devotional service. So here in this text, Arjuna has a doubt. And not doubt exactly, he wanted to know which is the better, which is the best in fact. You see the word, the last, you saw the sloka? Show me the display in the sloka. No, the verse. You see the last line. teṣāṁ ke yoga-vittamāḥ. Yoga-vittamāḥ. Yoga-vittamāḥ means, they say there is a comparison. Which yoga is the better? But vittamāḥ means it is the best. Which is the best? If there is a comparison of two things, how it can be best? One is better than the other. But here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, why yoga-vittamāḥ? Because there are two sets of people. Okay, they have different concepts. And out of them, one is better than the other. But out of those two, who is the best? Which is the best process? Okay. And the other way of thinking is, there are so many other yogas also. They're like karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. All these yogas are there, Ashtanga yoga, all these things. So out of that, which is the best yoga? That is why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, yoga-vittamāḥ. So in that, so Krishna concluded that bhakti yoga is the supreme. The last study you heard, bhakti yoga is the best. And then how it is best? Because one can, just now we heard in the previous class, Gurudev was describing, one must focus, one must meditate on the personal form of the Lord, that is personalist. So then as you meditate, you get attached. Just like we see so many things on mobile phone, or we see the most dear person, or whomever you like. So you are attached to that person, just like family members, your home, this temple, Prabhupada, whomever we come in contact, we get attached. So similarly, just by remembering this form of Krishna, what will happen, the Shyam Sundar form it particularly. So here, the last verse, Krishna described, you will develop attachment to me. That is the personal form. That is the highest spiritual realization. Let's see, why then, if Arjuna had already heard so many times, we'll see which all slokas Arjuna had heard. Then Arjuna, he has experience. But then Arjuna thought, there are some people, not that everybody meditate on the personal form. There are some impersonalists who meditate on the Brahmajyoti, on the impersonal Brahman. So for them, Arjuna is asking the question. You see, nowadays, if you go for preaching, not that everybody worship the deities. Many are there. The Mayavadis are there. There are so many. Nowadays, the number is increasing day by day. So they don't believe in the personal form. They are called Nirakarvadis, Nirvisheshavadis. So then that's why Arjuna is asking this question. Out of these two, who is the better? Who is the best? Personalist and impersonalist. So personalist means, let us go a little deeper. Of course, let me finish the purport first. Purport. So we find in this chapter that the different processes for realization of the absolute truth, bhakti yoga, is the highest. That is, devotional service is the highest. No doubt, we just now discussed. If one at all desires to have the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one must take to the devotional service. What do you mean by association? Association means, suppose I want to associate with a devotee. So you hear from him. By hearing from authority about the Krishna, then we can get his association. That is association. Krishna Katha. And also by serving a pure devotee, that is also association. Once we hear, naturally you will, what is that sloka? Tad viddhi pranipatena paripasana sevaya. If you do seva, then you will realize. Then he will be pleased. Then whatever pariprasna, whatever relevant questions you can ask, then he will guide you. So like that, the personalists, just now we read, the personalists, they say that the only way to associate with Krishna is by devotional service. There is no other way out. That is the concept of the personalist. First concept, Prabhupada already mentioned. So, those who worship the Supreme Lord directly, this is another criteria of a personalist. They always approach the Lord directly. Of course, via a spiritual master, but here Prabhupada says, the impersonalists, they don't worship the direct form of the Lord. That is indirectly. We'll see how it comes. It is mentioned in the Brihad Aranya Upanishad. Those who engage themselves in meditation, this is the thing, on the impersonal Brahman is called impersonalist. Arjuna is here questioning which position is better. And there are different ways to realize the absolute truth. But Krishna indicates in this chapter that bhakti yoga, devotional service to him, is the highest of all. Same thing. It is the most direct and the easiest mean. Just now you heard in the previous class, bhakti yoga is the easiest. Even a small child can do. Because there is a natural propensity of the soul to serve somebody. So we have to dovetail our service attitude towards Krishna. That is bhakti yoga. So that's why it is easiest. Otherwise, it is very, very cumbersome to meditate on the impersonal form of the Lord. Why? Because there are so many criteria I will be discussing. Maybe I will take in 5 minutes extra. I started a bit late. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord explained that the living entity is not the material body. So we know we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, spirit spark. And the absolute truth is the spiritual whole. In the 7th chapter, this is the word second chapter. So second chapter, what we learned? One is Jiva, one is the supreme, absolute truth. And the 7th chapter, which is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga, then Krishna spoke, he spoke of the living entity as being part and parcel of the supreme whole. So we are all part and parcel of Krishna. And recommended that he transfer his attention fully to the whole. That is the recommendation in the 7th chapter. Then again in the 8th chapter, so we are Prabhupada describing serially which all chapters, how Krishna is explaining about Bhakti Yoga. In the 8th chapter it was said that anyone who thinks of Krishna at the time of quitting his body at once transferred to the spiritual sky, to the abode of Krishna. Antakale cha mam evam smaran mukta kalevaram. That sloka is there, 8.5. And at the end of the 6th chapter, the Lord clearly said that of all the yogis, one who always thinks of Krishna within himself is considered the most perfect. Yoginam api sarvesam madgatena antaratmana saddhavan bhajate jo mam samay yuktātam mata. We'll explain that little more. And then, so in practically every chapter, the conclusion has been that one should be attached to the personal form of Krishna, for that is the highest. See, Prabhupada third time he is writing, form of Krishna, highest spiritual relation. Form of Krishna, highest spiritual relation. Nevertheless, there are those who are not attached to the personal form of Krishna. So there are some people who are not attached. They are so firmly detached that even in the preparation of commentaries of Bhagavad Gita, they want to distract other people from Krishna and transfer all devotion to the impersonal Brahmajyoti. So they write in their commentary, there is no form, there is no all Brahmajyoti, you should meditate. So they distract the devotees. We have to be careful. So they prefer to meditate on the impersonal form of the absolute truth, which is beyond the reach of the senses and not manifest. That's why avyakta word is there. You see in the text, so this sloka text, it is there, avyaktam, avyam. And so factually there are two classes of transcendentalists personalist and impersonalist. Now Arjuna is trying to settle the question of which process is easier and which of the classes is most perfect. So in other words, he is clarifying his own position because he is attached to the personal form of Krishna. Just in the previous chapter, Arjuna requested Krishna to show the personal form, 200 form. Then Krishna showed his 400, then 200 form. Arjuna was very frightened by seeing the Vishwarupa, universal form. Then he, the impersonal manifestation either in this material world or in the spiritual world of the Supreme Lord is the problem for meditation. Why it is a problem? Because there is no definition. What do you mean by impersonalist? Impersonal, it is not a defined. It is beyond the senses, sense perception. It is beyond the mental platform. So what is that? Brahma. On what you will meditate? That is why it is called, Prabhupada writes, it's a problem for meditation. Actually, one cannot perfectly conceive of the impersonal feature of the Absolute. Prabhupada directly. Why? Because Baladev Vidyabhushan, he says, because it is not yet fully defined. Therefore, Arjuna wants to say, what is the use of such waste of time? Arjuna experienced in the 11th chapter that to be attached to the personal form of Krishna is the best, because he could thus understand all other forms at the same time and there was no disturbance to his love for Krishna. The important question asked of Krishna by Arjuna will clarify the distinction between the impersonal and personal concept of the absolute truth. So this ends the Prabhupada's purport. So let us come. Just now we discussed the personalist. Personalist means they have no disturbances. They are attached to Krishna in a particular rasa. Some are Shanta rasa, neutral. Some are Dasya rasa, servitude, or Sakshya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So like that it is easy, just like we are related to our family members. Similarly, all the souls, they have a particular relation with Krishna. That is why there is no disturbance. This without any cessation we can serve Krishna. And also it is a direct and easiest method, not like impersonalist. And then just now Prabhupada mentioned all the other forms, because there you have heard in the previous chapter, it is very difficult to see the 200 form of Krishna. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva vilokayanti. Yam Sama Sundaram. Who can see the Sam Sundar form? Those who are pure devotees. Those whose eyes are anointed with the Prem, Krishna Prem. So we are at Anartha Nivrutti stage. We have not yet surpassed, reached the Prema stage. That's why we can't see the Sam Sundar form. Guru Maharaj was telling just now, if you can't see, at least see the deities. So deities are not different from Krishna. So that is how Prabhupada, we are so fortunate, Prabhupada gave us the beautiful deities. All the ISKCON center, wherever you go, you will see the Sam Sundar form of Krishna. That is why here it is said. And let us see how this bhakti has developed. As I said, from chapters 2, you see verse number 61. Krishna says, Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vasehi yasanendriya tasya pragya pratisthita. So here in this second chapter, Jiva, the Jivatma is described. The verse number 11 to 30, second chapter, Krishna tells about the Atma. It is you cannot cut it, you cannot burn it, you cannot wet it, you cannot so many things, characteristics of the soul, Jiva, and then spiritual spark. And also Krishna mentions about the absolute truth. So here in this 61 verse, the Sthitapagya characteristics are described. Sarvani samyamya. So all the senses. Who is a Sthitapagya? He restrains all the senses and keeps it under his control. And then he fixes his consciousness upon me. That's what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. That person is known as man of steady intelligence. So here also the personal form of Krishna is glorified. And then in the third chapter, 30th verse, Mai sarvani karmani sanyanya sadhitatma cetasa nirasir nirmamo bhutva yuddhasva vigata jaraha. So here Krishna is telling, oh Arjuna, you surrender all your work, whatever activities you are doing, you surrender unto me. Even the previous verse, yesterday's verse you have heard, Krishna karma. A devotee also works. Whatever he does, he submits to Krishna. It's varnasrama. So karma, Krishna karma arpanam. That's what he is telling. Sarvani karmani. You mai sarvani. You offer it to me. Then how? With the full knowledge of me. That is why sanyasya dhyatma cetasa. In your mind, in your knowledge, you have fully conscious of me. And then without any, then two more words he is saying, nirasir nirmamo. Nirasir means without any profit or loss. Don't think of any profit or loss. And don't claim your proprietorship. That's what he is telling. And be free from lethargy. Then you fight. Bigato jora. Juddhasva means you Arjuna, you fight. Here also we see the personal Krishna is telling about the devotional service. Krishna karma arpanam. In the 4th chapter, how the bhakti is evolving. In the 4th chapter, we hear janma karma mecha divyam evam jo veti tattatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mahameti sarjana. So here Krishna is telling, if simply one knows about my appearance, janma and karma, my activities, then what happens? He doesn't have to take bath in this material world. Then he attains to my eternal abode. So here also in the 4.9, Krishna talks about the personal form, the bhakti yoga. So basically this whole chapter, 12th chapter, the Krishna is comparing the bhakti yoga with all other yogas. He is proving, in particular this text, he is comparing, Arjuna is asking which is better, jnana yoga or bhakti yoga. Obviously Krishna will answer, tomorrow you will hear, he will tell bhakti yoga is the best. He has already told. So Arjuna is recapitulating. Oh, I have heard in the previous chapters. So he is recapitulating the 5th chapter, which is the bhakti sloka, the last sloka, 5th chapter, 29th verse. Bhaktāram jagya tapasam sarvaloka maheswaram sruhdam sarvabhutanam jnantamam santi mucchati. So that is, if one is fully conscious of me, I am the enjoyer, I am the jagya and tapasya. All the sacrifices we do, all the penances, tapasya we do, so every, it is for my enjoyment. So that concept, that is universal peace formula. And also, Krishna says, I am Maheswara, Sarvaloka Maheswara. Sarvaloka means all the 14 planetary system, including the planets of the demigods and all the upper and lower planetary system. I am the Maheswara, I am the owner, I am the proprietor. And then Sruhdam. Sruhdam means the person who never desire any, who gives us all the facilities, all the blessings, who is our best friend, who is our most well-wisher, even without expecting anything from us. He is called Sruhdam. Who can be a Sruhdam other than Krishna and his pure devotees? So this also another example in the 5th chapter. So let us come to the next chapter, that is the Dhyana Yoga. So there also in the last sloka again, just now we said, Yoginam api sarvesam, that is also pure devotional service. Yoginam api sarvesam madgatana antaratmana saddhavan vajate jaumam samanyuktatam. So here also Krishna is saying, amongst all the yogis, karma jnani and ashtanga and bhakta, who is the best? Na mad gatena antaratma, with full faith. With full faith. Saddhavan bhajate. That bhajate sabda means he also does my bhajan in devotional service. He renders service, most intimate service. Antaratmana. That means most intimate service. Then he is united with me. That is the yoga. That is the highest of all. So this exact sloka it says, directly it says bhakti yoga is the best. Then the 7th chapter, the first sloka, most famous sloka, maya sakta manaha partha yogam junjan madasrayah asamsayam samagram mam jatha gyasyashi tat srunu. So here Krishna is telling the 8 stages. You have heard in Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd chapter from text number 16 to 21. Krishna says, how by serving a pure devotee, the desire to hear, the urge to hear about the Srimad Bhagavatam and all the Vedic literature, it arises. Then after regularly attending the Bhagavatam class, the Rajan, Tamagun, it goes down, the Sattagun goes up. Then there is the urge to do service, devotional service in the heart, it arouses. And then there is positive transcendental knowledge, and then the karmic reactions are cut, all the karmic knots you get loose. So all these things you have heard in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the same thing in the 7.1 you have heard. So Krishna is telling, Maya sakta manaha partha. You get attached to me, asakta, manaha partha. Always think of me. Jogam junjan mad asraya. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna said. So now, then he is telling, tat srunu. Jatha gyasyasi tat srunu. So now you hear how by practicing this bhakti yoga and full consciousness of me, your mind attached to me, manaha para, maya sakta manaha para, partha. So you can know me in full without any doubt. So this is also bhakti yoga. And then 8th chapter, I have just now said, Antakale cha mam evaṁ smaran mukta kalevaram ja prayati samad bhavam yati nastetra sansaya. So here also Krishna is telling, remember, if you remember at the time of death, then you will go to my abode. So one more verse, just the Hindi class you heard, Ananyas Chetasa, just previous class, the same, that is also Bhakti Yoga. Guru Maharaj told, Ananya Chetaha Satatam Jemam Smarati Nityasaha Tasyaham Sulavaha Partha Nitya Yuktasya Joginaha. Beautifully Guru Maharaj just now explained, you have heard, Ananya, no other, no anya bhilas, only Krishna seva. Chetasa means in the mind, satatam, all the time, 24 hours. Jemam smarati, who remembers me, nityasaha, every day. Tasyaham sulabha, sulabha, very easily I am available, pleasantly available. Partha, nitya yuktasya joginaha. Amongst all these yogis, he is the real yogi, that is pure devotional service. Okay, so one who remembers without any deviation, so it is easy. Krishna is easy to get. That is why the personalists, they claim they get Krishna is easiest by bhakti yoga. And then in the 9th chapter, again the last verse, manmana bhav mad bhakta madjaji mam namaskuru atmanam mam evasyasi yukta evam atmanam mad parayanaha. So here also Krishna says, always think of me, become my devotee, play your obeisances unto me, and then you will be coming back to me without any fail. So that is another. And then in the 10th chapter, the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. What are they? 8, 9 and 10, 11. These 4 here. This gives the description of the Sambandha, Avidya and Prayojana. The Sambandha Gyan is the 8th 10.8, that is Aham sarvasya prabha matta sarvam pravattate iti mattva bhajante mam dudhavama samandita. So I give the intelligence, buddhi. The most intelligent people, they know everything is related to me. That's why they do my bhajan. And then the next is avidya, 10.9. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayante parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So that here Krishna says what to do? Then tushyanti cha, that means always discuss about me. Madchitta madgata prana. In your mind, in your consciousness, think of me. Madgata prana. Make me your life and soul. So then discuss about me. Encourage each other. So then tushyanti janaman. Then you'll be very, very pleased, very, very happy. So then the 10.10, that is the prayojana. What you will get out of that? Na teṣāṁ satata-yuktā bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yanamam upayantite. So here the result of the doing this bhakti, here it is said in Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if one does satata-yuktā, again satata. So we have to make a practice. Every day we are coming for Mangalarti, every day we are getting devotees association, every day we are hearing Bhagavad Katha. So gradually the time span will increase. So they will come, will be 24 hours, will be thinking of Krishna. Priti Purvakam. It has to be Priti Purvakam, not Apriti Purvakam. And then Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I will give the intelligence. How? What intelligence? So that you can come back to me. Then the last 10.11, teṣāṁ evaṁ kampartham aham ajñānajam tamah nasam atma bhavastho jnana dipena bhasvata. That means Krishna is telling, I give those who are doing all these three slokas, that means all these activities whoever is doing, I give them the special mercy of mine, so that he can and how what I do, because we are all the jivas, they are covered, their consciousness is covered with ignorance. So what Krishna will do, he is there as Paramatma, but by doing this devotional service, what will do, Krishna will he will remove all the ignorance which is causing the difficulties of the jivatma. So he will nasyamma atma bhutastho, and so from his heart I will remove all the darkness out of ignorance. Jnana dipena bhasvata, by transcendental knowledge, the lamp of transcendental knowledge. And then this 11.55. So all the way you have heard, the devotional service is the ultimate highest. So then coming to the impersonalist, you must have seen some people, if you go to Himalaya, you will see people, they sit, they make a fire around and they sit, aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. They will be just closing their eyes, they meditate just like Vivekananda. Some rays, some light they will be remembering, they will be meditating. And some people, they in a winter season, they take deep in the snowy area, the Himalayas, very, very cold. They do lot of efforts, but in the end, what at the most they will merge to the impersonal Brahman. Khene punya martalaka visanti. So after they patanti adha. So that means there is no service, there is no activity. Impersonal, that is ekarasta. Ekarasta means only one type of activity. So obviously we get bored, we get accustomed to that, so that we have to again come back. So then and they meditate on the impersonal Brahmajyoti. So let us see what the problem with the impersonalist is, or it will be described by Krishna in the third verse, second, third and fourth verse. So actually first to 7 verse in this 12th chapter, it describes the superiority of bhakti over the other yogas. So first of all, this impersonalist, they try to meditate on the Brahmajyoti, which is beyond our sense perception. So it is difficult, beyond our mental mind perception, and beyond our speech. We cannot even describe the Brahman. And it is unmanifested, which we cannot see, which we cannot understand. And it is beyond the time and space, this Brahman. So how difficult it is. And it has without any attribute and without any definition, indefinable. So that is why the Brahman is very, very difficult. So that and here he is telling just like the Chatur Kumaras, the Sanak Sanatan, Sanat Kumar and Sanandan, and the Sukadeva Goswami, they were also impersonalist earlier. Then once they heard about Srimad Bhagavatam, they immediately, Sukadeva Goswami, become attracted to Krishna and become a devotee. So the problem here is there is no direct worship, and there is no direct service of Krishna. So then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he also says the personalist, he appreciates that they are free from the one quality, that is hatredness. That is very much glorified in this. The personalists, they never envy Krishna or his devotees, whereas the impersonalists, they have no concept about that. So then Vallabha Vidyabhushan, he also says in different in his commentary, he says first one has to realize the Atma, then one has to meditate on the absolute truth, which is very cumbersome. That is why the direct devotional service is always superior. So then he says Ashtanga Yoga, all very difficult, just like we heard in the previous class, how difficult it is to perform. You draw the senses, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar. All these things are so difficult in this Kali Yuga, whereas devotional service is very easy. So that's why pure devotional service is the best, and it's the most powerful, and it's the quickest way to attain Krishna. And secondly, Vallabha Vidyabhushan says also the soul is very small, very tiny. So it is very difficult for the smallness and the very insignificant 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair, and it has no form, it is formless. That is why so he has a doubt Can anybody achieve the goal of realizing the soul and the super soul or the Bhagavan? So he has a doubt in that. So in this way, so then just last 5 minutes I will take. Why Arjuna, why he is putting this question? First of all, in the beginning of this chapter, so Arjuna is putting, as just now I said, there are some impersonalists to defeat them. And first of all, just now in the purport we read that Prabhupada writes that Arjuna was a personalist. Arjuna was a personalist. So he wanted to secure his position. He wanted to justify his position. And Arjuna also had realization that impersonal realization is very difficult, not only in this material world, also in the spiritual world. So that is one reason. And also he had already just all these verses I described from 2nd to 11. So many verses we just now discussed. So Arjuna had already heard this, that Bhakti Yoga is the best. So then Arjuna is thinking, why to waste our time in impersonal? It is so cumbersome. Krishna will answer in the 3rd verse that it takes long time. So many births we have to take to realize God by impersonal realization. So then Arjuna also wanted to, actually Arjuna, another reason is in 2 different texts. Krishna has already glorified Jnana is best. Which are the verses? 7:17. 7th chapter, 17th verse. Krishna says, teṣāṁ jnani nitya yuktāḥ eka bhaktir visishyate. So here Krishna is telling, one in full knowledge of me and always engage in pure devotional service is the best. But here the word bhajan, bhakti is also there. So it is not just jnana. It is also devotees. We also read scriptures. We also acquire knowledge. But to know Krishna, that is a part of bhakti. But here it is a Mishra bhakti. And then, but in 4th chapter, 36th verse, there Krishna says, षरमव jnana plavane brijinam santarishyasi. Santarishyasi means one can swim. Plavane means a boat. Jnana is so pure, by the boat of knowledge one can cross the nescience, the material, ocean of material existence. That is what he is telling, by the transcendental knowledge. So Arjuna had already heard these 2 verses. That is why he is clarifying. Some people may be thinking, Krishna has already said Jnana is the best, then why? Then they may be having some doubt, Jnana is also okay. So that is why he is asking Krishna again, please tell me, you have already glorified Jnana, but mostly you have glorified Bhakti. Now you tell out of these 2 which is the best. So that is how it. And the Shrutis also says, the Bruhat Aranya Upanishad, there is a nice verse, etad vai tad akṣaram gargi brahmana abhivandyate asthulam anvam anav arshabam. That means etad vai tad akṣaram. Akṣaram means that which is akṣara. Kha means decay, which has free from decay. Gargi, gargi, gargamani. Then brahmana, that means brahman. Abhivadyate. Abhivadyante means it is called. And asthulam. Asthulam means it is not wide, it is even narrow. And anav. Anav means it's not small. So indirectly the Brahman is described. And aswaram, it is not short. Then Krishna has also described the Yoga Mishra and Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Jnana Mishra Bhakti in the 9th chapter 15th verse. You have heard ekatvena, pruthaktena and vishvatamukham. Ekatvena means ahangara upasana. Some people say I am God, and then that is ekatvena. And I am same as God. All are God. And then pruthaktena means there are demigod worships. They feel every demigod is also God. And then vishvatamukham means who worship the Virat Rupa, the Vishwarupa. So there also, that is why Arjuna is asking this question. He has heard he remembers, not like us, he remembers all the text slokas. So that's why he is asking which is better, Jnana Bhakti, Jnana Yoga, or Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Bhakti Yoga. Then also Yoga Mishra Bhakti in 8th chapter 8:10, the third chakra yoga. You see there are 6 chakras in our human body. So the yogi, what he does is he elevates the 10 life air up to the Brahmarandhra, and from there it can transfer to any other planetary system. So like that, here Arjuna is asking Krishna which is the better one, and tomorrow you will hear Krishna is going to describe that out of these two which is the best. So Sri Bhagavan uvāca. So tomorrow you will continue up to 7 verses. This description will be there. So with this I am concluding. Started little late, that's why. So it is little. So you could understand something. Jnana yoga and bhakti yoga, which is the best and why it is best? That's the whole discussion. That's why Arjuna is asking this question. Out of this, which is better? Okay? So we will hear from Krishna. Now Arjuna told from his past experience. All these second, third, fourth, fifth, all these chapters Arjuna has heard, bhakti is the best, bhakti is better, bhakti is better. But again he has doubt, some impersonalists are there, and Krishna has also glorified jnana in 4th chapter, 436, and also in the 717 chapter, these 2 verses. So that is why he is asking. So it is very important, especially in those who are preachers. They need to defeat this jnanis. You will go for preaching. Many people say, no, why bhakti is jnana is most important. And you go, they will argue with you. So you should have these quotations from where then you can argue. Krishna is the highest authority. He is telling bhakti is the best, and you should be able to justify why bhakti. Just now I said this Brahman is, it is beyond our senses, beyond mind, beyond time, beyond space, beyond any definition, beyond any attribute. So then how to realize it? It's difficult. But bhakti is simple. Anybody small, any uneducated person can do bhakti. Isn't it? So that is why Krishna will tell in Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, उपस्थित समस्त भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल।